Alright guys, what's up? I have another very popular shoe for you guys. Today we are looking at the latest version of the Gel-Nimbus. This is the ASICS Gel-Nimbus 27. And look, I know what you're thinking. If you have run in the Gel-Nimbus or you've seen the Gel-Nimbus before, especially last year, you might be looking at that and think, man, it looks a bit similar. And I'll be honest, yeah, it does look very similar. But ASICS has made some big changes. Well, honestly, they're not that big, and yet at the same time, they are big. All right, you decide. Just watch the video. ASICS has made some changes. Let's get into it. Alright, full disclosure, this video is in partnership with my friends over at Roadrunner Sports. Now look, Roadrunner Sports was good enough to send me this pair of the Gel-Nimbus 27 for the purpose of review. However, they haven't told me what to say, they don't have any editorial privileges, and of course all the thoughts and opinions are my own. With that said, you are going to be able to pick up a pair of the ASICS Gel-Nimbus 27 for $165. And of course, I'll place a link in the show notes below in case you want to pick up a pair for yourself from Roadrunner Sports. Okay, so the ASICS Gel-Nimbus is ASICS max cushioned, very comfortable daily trainer. And ASICS has made their max cushion very comfortable daily trainer even maxer. They've added to the stack height. So this year, the ASICS Gel-Nimbus 27, I just got to call it the Nimbus 27. It's always a bit of a mouthful saying the whole name, but the Nimbus 27 now has 43.5 in the heel, 35.5 in the forefoot for an 8mm drop. Well, that's the men's version. If you buy the women's version, we have 1mm less, so 42.5 in the heel, 34.5 in the forefoot. Either way, both are an 8mm drop. ASICS claims that in the US men's size 9, the Nimbus 27 would tip the scale at 10.8 ounces or 305 grams. However, in my size, a US men's size 13, the Nimbus 27 tips the scale at 13.1 ounces or 372 grams. So look, it's not a feather, right? Not a light shoe. But I do want you to keep in mind, I mean, if you've already run in the Nimbus, you know the drill. This shoe is like crazy comfortable. But I do want you to keep in mind that this is for those long, slow miles. The Nimbus 27 is definitely built for comfort. And of course, I know what you're thinking. You might be wondering, Matt, they've added 2mm of stack height to the midsole foam. Like, is it heavier than last year's version, the Nimbus 26? And I'm here to tell you no. In fact, I think ASICS reports it as exactly the same size. But in my size, remember, Nimbus 27, 372. Last year, the Nimbus 26, which I have right here, tipped the scale at 373 grams. So in my size, the 26 is 1 gram heavier than the new 27. So to me, this is like the biggest update. And we'll jump straight to the midsole foam now, because that's what we're talking about. But the Gel-Nimbus 27 is still using Flight Foam Blast Plus Eco. That's the same foam that they used in the Gel-Nimbus 26. However, this time they have tweaked the formulation. They have made it softer and more responsive. But we'll get more into that in just a second when we talk about the ride. So why don't we start at the top and we'll work our way down. And if I hold up this heel collar, like to me, the Nimbus 27 and the 26 before it just scream premium daily trainer. Like if you want to put that premium label on it, this heel collar of the Nimbus 27 just says premium to me. And it is almost identical to the Nimbus 26. But I think this is one of those things that if it's not broke, why fix it? Now there is a lot of padding, but it is kind of a bolster padding. So the padding is biased towards the top. And then when your heel goes in, that padding kind of sits above your heel and gives you a good lockdown. Now what I really like is that the padding doesn't go all the way to the top of the heel collar. There's like a small thin piece of material that comes around the top and just looks good. Of course, ASICS is keeping their big knit heel pull. And although I don't think this shoe needs a heel pull, it's very pleasant. It's so big, it just fits your finger nicely. I think it's a nice touch. Now, a big change that ASICS has made this year with the Nimbus 27 is that they have completely changed the upper. They're now using a jacquard mesh upper, and the upper uses 75% recycled content, but this new jacquard upper is going to make the Nimbus 27 a lot more breathable than the Nimbus 26. Now, the Nimbus 26 used a knit upper. And look, there's some people like knit uppers. I don't happen to be one of those people. So the new jacquard mesh upper is it's a welcome change for me. I just feel like I get a lot better lockdown in a shoe with a mesh upper as opposed to a knit upper. And of course, I do live in a warm climate, so, you know, wearing knit on my feet isn't always like the best choice. But either way, I think the jacquard mesh upper is a good direction for ASICS to go, and that probably contributes to lowering the weight from that extra stack height too. Now, even though I said I don't like knit, the Gel-Nimbus 27 is still using the same very thin knit tongue. And this is a real treat, because usually on a daily trainer, the tongues are just super thick and padded, and I always think they're over padded. Like, why is that much padding needed? I don't know. We need a little bit of protection, but oftentimes the tongues are just overly padded. Like, I'm not going to get more into it than that. The tongue on the Nimbus 27 is not that way. It is fairly thin, and it's nice and stretchy, and there is a pawl right on the top that kind of doubles as a lace loop, and it's fun to put your foot into. That stretchy knit tongue kind of makes the shoe feel like you're putting your foot into a booty, although it's not. It is just a traditional shoe. Now the tongue is gusseted, and of course we've got that lace loop right on the top, so there is no slipping of this tongue. Now I did forget to tell you about the heel counter. The heel counter is exactly as we would expect on a max cushion daily trainer. It's very firm. I mean, You can just feel that heel counter in there. And that is primarily the reason why we don't need a heel pull on the back of the shoe, because this shoe is so rigid on the back that if you were to just kind of put your toes in and then step down, your heel is going to slip right into place. But look, ASICS, if you're watching this, I don't want you to take away this heel pull. It's nice. Now, as far as overlays go, there really aren't that many. At least they're not apparently so. Of course, we got the ASICS logo on the medial and lateral side. There's some pretty stiff reinforcement coming around the toe box just to keep that upper off your foot. And of course, some reinforcement coming along the eyelet chain. Now, here is something that ASICS has changed. They have changed the whole lace setup on the Nimbus 26. It was much more of a ghillie lace system, or at least there were a couple of ghillies on there. Is that what those things are called? Are they ghillies? Let's take a look. You know, these things right here, the green things, I think those would be considered ghillies. Anyway, on the ASICS Nimbus 27, they have done away with it, and we're using a blend of traditional eye holes and kind of shock cords. All in all, I think the lacing system of the Nimbus 27 is just, it's a lot more updated than the Nimbus 26. Or not updated, obviously it's updated. I mean, up to date. It looks more modern, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay. So now we are back down to the midsole. See right here on the back it says pure gel, and that's because there is, of course, gel in the Gel Nimbus 27. And it is just a small piece, probably about that big, of joined hexagons, and it's right here in the center of your heel. And that's just going to contribute to enhanced shock absorption. There is a removable Ortholite X55 sock liner. That's just going to contribute to an improved stepping comfort. I mean, I say improved. Just going to add that little bit of softness. Don't actually think it's improved. In fact, I know it's not. It's the same sock liner as they used in the Nimbus 26, but either way, it is still going to contribute to stepping comfort. And then we're back down to the midsole foam, which you already know, reformulated, softer, more responsive, and it's made with 24% bio-based content. If we come down to the outsole, you can see ASICS has cut back on the rubber just a little bit. We got this center channel, some cutouts here on the forefoot, but there is rubber in all the right places, and it's hybrid ASICS grip, so it's going to give you all the grip you need on a road shoe. And in my experience, this hybrid ASICS grip it's quite resilient. In fact, when I'm looking at the back, yeah, I see just a little bit of scuffing on the outsole rubber and a little bit of scuffing on the midsole, but that's just because when I'm running slow, as I do in shoes like this, do tend to kind of drag my heels on landing. But that's all right. That's what these shoes are made for, especially because we've got that pure gel right in the heel. Okay, so as far as fit goes, the Nimbus 27 does fit true to size. If you have worn ASICS before, I wear the same size in the Nimbus 27 as I do in all other ASICS. I did find I had a pretty good lockdown across the midfoot and plenty of room in my toe box. You know, I want those toes to move around. Now, the Gel Nimbus 27 is available in wide, and I think it's available in extra wide. But I gotta tell you, I just have the normal size, and my feet had plenty of room to move. In fact, I am cinching these laces together quite a lot when I'm tying them down. Now, perhaps that tells me that maybe I could drop down to a 12.5 and I'd still be fine, but I gotta say the size 13 just felt good on my foot. I can't say I actually ran into any issues. Now, this is a neutral daily trainer. There's no really stability elements added to it, other than we have a very wide base. In fact, if I hold it up there, that does look really wide. And if I turn it around, you can see this sole flare. So your foot is sitting right over a very wide platform. That's just going to give you a feeling of security on the run. Oh, fun fact, did you know that the Nimbus 27 has a carbon footprint that is 27% lower than the industry average? That's pretty good. So let's talk about ride. Because when I got the 27 in, of course, I looked at it and I was like, oh, wow, that looks just like the Gel Nimbus 26. Of course, I haven't taken the Gel Nimbus 26 out in a couple of months, but you know, looking at it, it just looks like an ASICS daily trainer and very reminiscent of the 26. Now, I'm not going to keep doing a magic trick. I'm just going to reach behind me and grab the 26 that I stuck back there. Look, last year in the Nimbus 26, I got this dark blue. This year in the 27, I got black. And to my colorblind eyes, these look very similar. In fact, I'm looking on the camera right now and I can definitely see the difference on camera. But depending on the light, to me, these look very similar. I mean, they're both dark colors. So yeah, until I actually started looking at both and actually looking at the minute details, to me, these look very similar. And when I took out the 27, I thought to myself, is it really softer than the 26? Like, I couldn't really remember how the 26 rode. So I had to take out the Gel Nimbus 26 again. And guys, ASICS is right. It isn't just hype. They have reformulated this Flight Foam Blast Eco and they have made it softer. And of course, I can't actually scientifically measure the responsiveness, but it feels more responsive. Yes, when I took out the 26 to run them, I was actually surprised how firm it was. Now, did anyone complain last year that the Gel Nimbus 26 was too firm? Probably. I think ASICS might have received quite a bit of feedback like that, because the Gel Nimbus 27 is substantially softer. So if that's your jam, if that's what you like, if you like that smooth, cruisy ride that is just super soft, the Gel Nimbus 27 is actually going to be a pretty good option for you. But if you are someone that doesn't like a super soft and plush ride, and yet you still want a max cushion daily trainer, guys, I think maybe the GEL-NIMBUS 26 is still one to take a look at. Like, not everyone likes a super plush ride. But of course, there are some other competitors to the Nimbus 27. And of course, coming from ASICS itself, we have the Glide Ride Max. Guys, I'm actually a pretty big fan of the Glide Ride Max. Now, the Glide Ride Max has 44 in the heel, 38 in the forefoot for a 6mm drop. So 6mm drop, 8mm drop. Now, the Glide Ride Max is $170, so it costs $5 more than the Nimbus 27. But in my size, the Glide Ride Max tips the scale at 349 grams. That's 23 grams less than the Nimbus 27. And then, of course, if we step outside of ASICS, let's go to Brooks's answer to the Max Cushion Daily Trainer. And this is the Glycerin 22. Now, these two go head to head. There may be a comparison video in your future. Now, the Brooks Glycerin 22 is also $165, but the Glycerin 22 kind of goes in the other direction from the Glide Ride Max. We have 38 in the heel, 28 in the forefoot for a 10mm drop. So 10mm drop, 8mm drop. And the Brooks Glycerin 22 tips the scale, in my size at least, at 360 grams. So it is 12 grams lighter than the Nimbus 27. So now that you have heard all there is to know about the ASICS GEL-NIMBUS 27, I want to hear from you. First of all, have you ever run in a GEL-NIMBUS? Like any year, from 1 all the way up to 27? I'd love to hear your opinion. And are you thinking about picking up a pair of the Nimbus 27? Drop a comment and let me know. Alright, don't forget to hit up my friends at Roadrunner Sports if you want to buy a pair of the Nimbus 27. But for now, it's Matt B. This has been my review of the ASICS GEL-NIMBUS 27. Be kind, be happy, run well. I'll see you in a couple of days.